Alright, so I've got the hatch inner panel all varnished and on there. So one of the things that I am doing right now is I'm epoxying these edges here. So I just want to make sure if there's any kind of water intrusion it can't get into the end grain. So I'm epoxying all of these edges. So while I let that epoxy dry and set up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the hurricane hinge. Now the hurricane hinge is kind of an interesting aluminum extrusion, and it fits like this. Now it hasn't been fitted yet, so it's not sitting down there exactly right. But you can see how it works, and so you've got this labyrinth seal, and so this part of course goes on the hatch, and this part nails down to the body. And so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be leaving a little bit of an overlap on the edge. That's just recommended. I say it helps in keeping from water getting in there. And then you can see where I've made my mark. And I'll mark that and cut off that little tab and make that so it'll drop down in here against this, this spar right here. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done. So I got it cut, and this is how it fits in there. It'll be something like that. So there'll be some sealant underneath it. Screws will go in on this rail here, and then there's a vinyl strip that covers it. So not quite ready to install that yet, but I just wanted to start getting some things cut so I have an idea of what the fit looks like. Okay, here's the hatch. I've got the edges all epoxied and sealed here. I've also put a strip of aluminum right here. This is where the LED light strip is going to go. And so I basically just took this strip of aluminum and drilled some holes, put some countersinks in. This is where the wires are going to come out for that light. And there'll also be wires coming out on here. So the next thing that I'm doing right now is I'm working on some more aluminum, and I'm starting to fit the aluminum for the sides here. I'm doing this now so that I don't have to worry about it, so I can have some pieces already done once I start putting the aluminum skins on. So here's one that I've already done. You can see I made the bends, and I didn't screw in the top one because I'm going to be taking it all out again, but made all the bends. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to show you how I did it. So here is some aluminum here on the bench. I've cut it off. I put a miter in this corner here, and now I'm just taking a little marking gauge and going along and just using my punch here and just punching for drilling. I'm putting these holes about 4 inches apart. Now that I've got the holes drilled out, I'm going to put a countersink in here. And I'll just show you how that works. Nice countersink in it. Okay, so I've got it all countersunk. This is where it goes. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'll kind of position it here at the bottom where I want it. This first one, exactly kind of where I want it. Take my punch. Punch. And then the screwdriver. Number 6 by 1/2 inch flathead stainless steel screw in there. Alright, so that gets the first one in. And then I just start working my way up the bend. And I'm not going to put a screw in every single hole at this point, but you know, of course once I get the aluminum on I will, but right now what I'm concerned about is getting the bends on. So it's kind of every other hole or so, because there'll be some sealant that goes in here and whatnot when I put it in for real. But I just want to get these in here so I can make the bends. So now I've got the trim on up to here, and you can see I got a big bend here that I've got to make, and so how in the world am I going to do that? So I'll show you what I did, and I did on the other side, and hopefully it will work as well on this side. So let me, I'll find a place to put the camera down, and then I'll show you what I did. Okay, so the first thing to do, is I'm going to start kind of working it by hand a little bit. So just kind of pull it down by hand. So this one is good and flush, so I'm going to put a screw in there. Right. And then just kind of keep bending it. Now it's getting to the point where I really can't bend it by hand anymore. And so now I've got this round piece here. And I just start beating it into place with a hammer. And I think this one is ready to put a screw in. Alright, now I still got, I don't know whether you can see this, but I still got a little gap here. So it just requires more beating. Get that to bend the corner. Actually, this side's fitting better than the other side. There is no substitute for experience. So there you can see it's bent around there. Put a screw in there. Should be set. So I've been kind of not dreading, but thinking a lot about how I'm going to do this, and so I said, well, I'll get some of the aluminum out today and see if I can get some of it started to get bent, and it's actually pretty easy. Now I'm going to cut the outer panel for the hatch, so I have it laid out here, marked. There's the hatch. I will take those temporary braces off and replace it with this. So there is the hatch with the outer skin all on. So I'll just let that dry, and then I'll trim the edges off, and we'll go on to the next step.